The rules of this place are likely akin to a chess game. One divides their divine sense and merges it with one of the soldiers below, assuming a mortal body, facing this massive, bloody battle of 1,000,000 soldiers. Moreover, cultivation is entirely suppressed, unable to unleash its full potential. The white tiger becomes a general, and the people from the 5 elements star become soldiers. This is the advantage the white tiger perceives. In this place, the 300 broken realms cannot suppress bloodlines. But if the power of the entire realm is focused on just 2 or 3 people, it can suppress the bloodlines. When the bloodlines are suppressed, cultivation is naturally impacted. The white tiger is not only an immortal, but also cultivates physical strength. Although his immortal bloodline is suppressed, his physical body remains strong. Even though it has been weakened somewhat, his fierceness remains, which is why he becomes a general. As for those from the 5 elements star, they do not cultivate their physical bodies, like scholars. Naturally, this leads to the distinction between soldiers and generals. Wang Lin squinted, revealing a wise look. The rules here suppress cultivation. The white tiger is an immortal, and back when he saw me use the Li Guang Bao, he must have sensed that I don't possess an immortal bloodline. The reason I could use the Li Guang Bao is because of the immortal indestructible body bloodline. In this case, for someone like me, who lacks an immortal bloodline, my cultivation will be suppressed heavily. Even if I divide my divine sense and transform it into a soldier, it will just be an ordinary mortal. But for them, because they have bloodline power, even though it is suppressed, they can still exert some of their power. This is what he believes to be his advantage. And because he thinks I have no immortal bloodline, he assumes that I won't create any burden on the rules of this realm. The rules won't exert more force to suppress the newly emerged bloodline bearer, weakening their influence. He might also know I have the Dao ancient inheritance and the ancient god physique, but he absolutely doesn't know that my Dao ancient inheritance contains bloodline power. Though it will be suppressed, when combined with cultivation, this bloodline doesn't just match the white tiger. It's even stronger. Wang Lin decisively took a step forward. The moment his foot moved, as he stepped into this broken realm, a loud booming sound reverberated, shaking the stars and seemingly tearing the heavens apart. A force was forcibly integrated, slightly disrupting the rules set by the white tiger. As Wang Lin predicted, while the power of the entire realm may suppress the bloodlines of 2 people, if a third person, also with bloodline power, appears, the suppression will be dispersed, and its effect will be diminished. At the moment Wang Lin entered this realm, the middle-aged man from the 5-elements star, on the 3rd cultivation star, had his eyes light up. He clearly sensed that the suppression of his bloodline had weakened. At the same time, the soldier his divine sense had transformed into below him immediately radiated a faint golden light. This golden light was faint but surrounded the soldier, making the man feel a surge of energy. Even his spear seemed to turn into a sharp blade, as he cut through several incoming enemies effortlessly. The white tiger's expression changed, his eyes full of disbelief. Just as Wang Lin had thought, he indeed didn't believe Wang Lin possessed bloodline power. However, the changes in the rules of this realm immediately shook him. He actually has bloodline power. Impossible. I clearly didn't sense the existence of an immortal bloodline in him. Even if there was one back then, it was only integrated into the Li Guang Bao. As soon as Wang Lin entered this broken realm, his body distorted and vanished in an instant, reappearing in the sky above the 3rd cultivation star. He stood in a triangular formation with the white tiger and the man from the 5-elements star. The moment Wang Lin arrived, his divine sense, no longer controlled by him, split off and rushed to the battlefield below. In the enemy camp of the white tiger general, it immediately fused with an ordinary soldier. This soldier, holding a long knife, was about to strike at the enemy when he failed to notice the white tiger general, transformed into a white armored general, draw a spear from his saddle and throw it with a fierce roar. The spear whistled as it flew directly toward the soldier the divine sense had merged with. The soldier, after the divine sense fused with him, hesitated for a moment. His eyes flashed, and his hair turned white, his form blurring. In an instant, he transformed into Wang Lin. The long knife that was about to strike was suddenly turned and swung back fiercely, colliding with the flying spear. With a loud bang, The spear was cleaved in two by Wang Lin's strike. The two halves flew past him and pierced the chest of an enemy soldier behind Wang Lin, pinning the soldier to the ground. After cutting the spear, Wang Lin, in the form of a soldier, suddenly looked up and fixed his gaze on the White Tiger general, who was still riding on his white horse in the distance. At that moment, on the slaughtered battlefield, Wang Lin's true body sat cross-legged, a cold smile on his lips. The rules of this place are like a chess game. The chessboard consists of the million soldiers below, and the pieces are the soldiers, each transformed by the divine senses of the three individuals. The White Tiger general's expression darkened as he glanced at Wang Lin. He then closed his eyes, fully immersing his mind in the general formed by his divine sense below. The white-armored general's eyes glowed with a cold light. He raised his right hand and pointed toward the soldiers formed by Wang Lin's divine sense in the distance. Instantly, black mist swirled around him, transforming into 10 black-armored soldiers with cold, ruthless faces. They charged into the battlefield, heading straight for Wang Lin. Wang Lin sneered. Amidst the battle, the sounds of constant fighting, screams, and roars filled the air, merging into the most grandiose music of the world. To the rhythm of this music, his blood boiled. Wang Lin wiped the blood from his blade and stepped forward. Wearing the ordinary armor of a soldier, he cleaved through any enemy that stood in his way with a low growl. With every life taken, the dead would transform into a wisp of smoke and flow into Wang Lin's body. Gradually, black mist surrounded his form, making him look like a terrifying god of death. He understood that all the soldiers here were illusions, created by the White Tiger general's established rules. It was nothing but a chessboard, set up for the three of them to play their game. Kill, kill, kill. Wang Lin continued forward, his right hand gripping the great blade like an iron vice. He swept it across his path, and whenever an enemy soldier neared, Wang Lin leapt into the air with a roar, landing on the enemy's head and using the force to propel himself, slashing downward with his curved blade at the nearest black-armored soldier. The black-armored soldier looked up in shock, his gaze meeting Wang Lin's form against a dim sky. Above them was a blood moon, with Wang Lin's silhouette eclipsing it as he descended, fierce and terrifying. The black-armored soldier raised his great shield in haste to block Wang Lin's mighty strike. The blade flashed, followed by a horrifying scream that shook the surroundings. All the onlookers trembled as they turned to look. Wang Lin landed, his sword cleaving through the shield. It shattered into pieces, and with a howl, his blade cut the black-armored soldier in half from head to toe. A surge of black mist poured from the soldier's body, flowing into Wang Lin. After slaying nearly 100, including a black-armored soldier illusion created by the White Tiger, the black mist around Wang Lin's body had thickened, resembling black flames. In this moment, a cracking sound echoed as all the black mist around Wang Lin's body condensed, forming a suit of black armor, which clad him completely. His white hair contrasted starkly with the dark armor, creating an awe-inspiring sight. The blade in his hand also turned black, elongating and curving like a crescent moon. Laughing loudly, Wang Lin, now clad in black armor, stepped forward, his long blade swinging as death and slaughter continued. Half an incense stick later, all 10 of the black-armored soldiers, formed by the white-armored general's divine sense, were slain by Wang Lin's blade. After killing these 9, Wang Lin's armor nearly covered his entire body, leaving only his head exposed. Standing among the soldiers, he appeared incredibly formidable. Meanwhile, in the five-element star, the middle-aged man, whose divine sense had taken the form of soldiers, wielded a sword wrapped in golden light. After slaying several soldiers, golden light flashed around him, transforming into a simple golden armor, far inferior to Wang Lin's majestic set. At this sight, the White Tiger general on high suddenly opened his eyes, his expression grim and veins bulging. He took a deep breath and closed his eyes once more. The white-armored general's divine sense descended, and his right hand reached out to the saddle to retrieve a spear. Stepping back, he aimed to increase the distance between himself and Wang Lin. But Wang Lin wouldn't allow him to retreat as he wished. Aware of the limited time he had in this realm, Wang Lin knew he had to end the battle quickly. With the white-armored general backing away, Wang Lin roared to the heavens, his right hand striking the ground with his blade. Using the shockwave, he leapt into the air, his feet smashing down on the heads of the soldiers, charging forward with terrifying speed. With every step, those he landed on transformed into black mist, merging with Wang Lin's body. After advancing 100 yards, the black mist around him began to condense once again. As a fierce horse's neigh sounded, the black mist formed into a black steed. Wang Lin mounted the horse, and the two of them became a whirlwind of death, leaving no survivors in their wake. He charged straight for the white-armored general. The white-armored general's expression changed drastically as he locked his gaze on Wang Lin, who was riding the black horse, roaring toward him from 1,000 yards away. His grip on the spear tightened. Meanwhile, in another shattered realm, the rainbow Daoist's expression was grim. Having traversed nearly 100 realms, he had yet to find Wang Lin. In his anxiety, he raised his hand to tear open the starry sky, creating a gap and stepping through. Suddenly, he froze. His eyes lit up with wild joy as he sensed Wang Lin's aura. Though it wasn't within this realm, the presence was not far off. The rainbow Daoist vanished in a flash, tearing open another gap and diving through. It's close, I can feel it, it's just ahead. The rainbow Daoist's eyes glinted with excitement. On the battlefield, when a general retreats, their momentum weakens, especially at this moment when Wang Lin roared and charged forward, making it impossible for him to retreat. To retreat now would mean he feared Wang Lin. If he did, there might be no chance of victory left for him. After all, as time passed, the more Wang Lin killed, the stronger he became. He could choose to kill as well, but if he retreated now, he could not compare with Wang Lin in terms of momentum. Kill! The white-armored general's face twisted with ferocity as he shouted, urging his spotted white horse to gallop forward, heading straight for Wang Lin. From high above, in the eastern part of the endless battlefield, two spirals, one black and one white, separated by 1,000 feet, rapidly closed the distance. Both the white and black spirals were engulfed in killing, striving to gain the greatest advantage in this 100-zhang distance. Screams echoed, and countless casualties were left in their wake. The black and white spirals grew closer. The white tiger in the sky was shocked, his expression contorted. His divine sense merged with the white armor below, and faintly, behind that armor, a fierce tiger began to manifest in an illusion. This tiger loomed in the sky, roaring at Wang Lin. Even the white horse beneath the white-armored general seemed to transform into a white tiger, its roar shaking the heavens as it galloped. Wang Lin was enveloped in black mist, surrounding his black horse and hiding his entire body. His white hair billowed as he wielded a black blade nearly 10 feet long, resembling a world-splitting weapon. Blood dripped from the blade's tip, staining the air with a ghastly red. So what if it's a tiger? Today, Wang Lin will slay the tiger. Wang Lin's eyes flashed with killing intent, his gaze exuding a chilling cold. The black mist swirled around him, forming the illusion of a towering giant. This giant was not Dao Ancient Yemo, but Dao Ancient Wang Lin. 500 feet, 400 feet, 300 feet. In an instant, the distance between them shrank to just 100 feet. At this range, one could cover it in a heartbeat. In the blink of an eye, they were almost upon each other. Kill! The white-armored general suddenly lifted his head and let out a thunderous roar that seemed to shake the heavens. Wang Lin, however, made no sound. In silence, his black horse leaped into the air, and with his right hand, he swung the long blade in a deadly arc. The blade's edge glowed with a dark light, merging with the dim sky and intertwining with the blood moon behind him. With a single swing, the world seemed to change color. The winds reversed, the sky appeared to collapse, all coalescing into the power of Wang Lin's strike. The white-armored general's long spear emitted a blinding white light as it thrust forward the moment he neared Wang Lin. Behind him, the white tiger illusion twisted and charged directly at the spear. As the two merged, the spear was no longer just a weapon. It became a ravenous white tiger. As the black and white spirals collided, a tremendous boom shattered the heavens, sending shockwaves through the earth, shaking the skies, and echoing throughout the star domain. Amidst the booming, Wang Lin's long blade met the tiger-formed spear. The spear shattered instantly, and the white tiger let out a terrible howl before disintegrating. Likewise, Wang Lin's blade cracked, breaking into countless shards that spiraled backward. The two horses collided head-on with a deafening crash. Their heads shattered and bodies disintegrated, turning into swirling black and white mist that spread in all directions. Both soldiers were thrown into the air. In that moment of impact, they engaged in a brutal battle, their roars filling the sky, the sounds of collision reverberating for miles. In the sky, the white tiger general trembled, spitting out a mouthful of blood, his face pale, but still exuding a murderous aura. The white tiger symbolized ferocity, and as the white tiger general, his malevolent power was terrifying. However, after spitting out blood, he looked at Wang Lin with eyes full of terror. How is it possible for him to have such a murderous aura? How many people has he killed in his lifetime? Wang Lin, in his true form high in the sky, trembled slightly, his face pale. But his eyes grew even brighter. He glanced at the white tiger general, and his voice rang out. You are about to lose. I, the white tiger, will never lose. This is my world, a world of rules. I will never lose. The white tiger general raised his right hand, slamming it fiercely against his chest, and immediately sprayed another mouthful of blood. As the blood fell to the ground, the white-armored general's armor shattered, blood pouring from his wounds as his body was thrown back. He tumbled backward for over 1,000 feet before crashing to the earth. In that instant, the blood he spat out mixed with the armor, and the armor began to reform. The white-armored general, now roaring in fury, didn't even glance at Wang Lin. Instead, he began slaughtering his own soldiers in a frenzy. With each kill, his wounds healed slightly, and the shattered armor quickly reassembled. Wang Lin's chest piece, manifested by his divine sense, also collapsed under the impact. His armor cracked, and his white hair swirled as he retreated 1,000 feet. At this moment, the white-armored general, in the midst of a bloodthirsty massacre, could no longer distinguish friend from foe. Every soldier around him was slain by his hands, turning into white mist and merging into his body. Yet, the white-armored general seemed unwilling to stop. His body swayed, and in an instant, thousands of droplets of blood shot out from his skin's pores, streaking through the air and heading in all directions. These droplets transformed into over 1,000 blood auras. Anyone they touched immediately vanished, their bodies dissipating as the blood aura merged with them, only to rush toward the next target. In just a moment, the soldiers formed from the chess formation on the battlefield had been reduced in number, and the death toll continued to rise rapidly, soon reaching nearly 100,000. The white-armored general leaped into the air, his arms spread wide. The accumulated auras of the tens of thousands of dead soldiers surged toward him with a crashing sound. As this occurred, new white armor materialized around him, and a white horse appeared beneath him. However, this was not the end. The 1,000 droplets of blood still continued their slaughter. Wang Lin did not use the same method. Instead, as he stepped back, his gaze flickered and locked onto the third chess piece retreating in the distance. The middle-aged cultivator from 5 Elements Star, whose divine sense had transformed into the golden armored general. The golden armored general met Wang Lin's gaze, and a chill ran down his spine. Without thinking, he began to retreat quickly, but Wang Lin, with a single step, closed the distance between them in an instant. His right hand lifted and swung downward with terrifying force. The golden armored general was the weakest of the 3 chess pieces. Under this rule-based environment, he was far inferior to Wang Lin and the white tiger. Were it not for the constraints of the realm, killing this man would take time. But now, Wang Lin was not targeting his true body, but rather this weaker mortal form, making the task much simpler. At this moment, the middle-aged cultivator from 5 Elements Star had no time to retaliate. As Wang Lin's palm descended, the golden armored general let out a horrible scream, and his golden armor immediately shattered. In the instant the armor collapsed, Wang Lin's divine sense, manifested as a chess piece, suddenly opened its mouth wide and devoured him. Wang Lin was a soul devourer, and his divine sense possessed this same ability. Though suppressed here, his instinct related to souls still persisted. While he could not devour the white tiger, devouring this third, weakened chess piece under the realm's rules was easy. The scream of the golden-armored general seemed to sink into the vast sea, with no ripple. As Wang Lin swallowed him, his divine sense chest piece immediately became surrounded by black mist. The shattered armor reformed, more formidable than before. This time, even the helmet formed, completely encasing Wang Lin's head, leaving only his white hair flowing behind, in sharp contrast to the black armor. A dragon's roar echoed across the sky as a black dragon coiled around Wang Lin. This dragon, ethereal and mist-like, circled around him before letting out a roar toward the distant white-armored general. Hearing the roar, the white-armored general looked up sharply, his right hand reaching forward into the air. Immediately, his long spear materialized, and the 1,000 droplets of blood began swirling back toward him, merging into his body. In the blink of an eye, his white horse twisted and, with a mighty tiger's roar, transformed into a massive white tiger beneath him. Standing atop the white tiger, the white-armored general grasped a 3-zhang-long spear, his eyes blazing with a murderous fury. The white tiger leaped, charging toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin's right hand rose, black mist swirling around him as a 3-zhang-long blade materialized. Gripping the blade, he advanced in silence, the black dragon roaring beneath him as it coiled around him, charging straight toward the white tiger. The chess game had come to this, where a single battle would determine the winner or loser. The two sides collided, the roar of tigers and dragons filling the air. The earth trembled as the sound of their battle shook the very foundation of the cultivation star. Wang Lin's blade descended, meeting the long spear of the white-armored general. After a long silence, Wang Lin let out a low growl. At that moment, the Dao ancient phantom around him manifested as his sword struck down. The white-armored general cried out in despair. His long spear shattered, his armor collapsed, and his white tiger disintegrated. A bloodline crack appeared between his brows. As Wang Lin's sword fell, his body exploded into pieces. In the sky, the white tiger general's face turned pale as he spat a mouthful of blood. His expression quickly darkened. From now on, you, white tiger, will be my Wang Lin's slave. Wang Lin, seated in meditation, suddenly stood. His pupils contracted as he sensed a looming threat rapidly approaching. Without hesitation, he took a step forward, merging with the chess piece manifestation of his divine sense. With a wide-open mouth, he devoured all the remaining essence of the white-armored general. As he did, black mist erupted from his body, transforming into a storm that swept outward. A massive blade, several feet long, materialized in his hand, and he raised it high. His eyes locked onto the sky, his pupils shrinking into a single point. All his essence, energy, and spirit combined under the rules of the realm, fusing into the blade. This strike will unleash the greatest power in this realm. This strike will break the established rules of the white tiger in this place. This strike is Wang Lin's, within this shattered realm, using the transformed rules to deliver a heaven-destroying blade. He waits for the person who poses a threat to him to appear. Meanwhile, Wang Lin's left hand forms a seal behind him. A faint flicker of firelight emerges, transforming into a small fire umbrella. With a flash in his hand, it disappears. The blade in Wang Lin's hand remains perfectly still, as if frozen in the void. This creates a sharp contrast between Wang Lin's still body and the black dragon storm surrounding him, one in motion, the other in stillness. Amid this blending of stillness and motion, a pressure radiates from Wang Lin that is powerful enough to shock the mind. This pressure reaches the white tiger general, whose body, formed from divine sense, is consumed. Due to the bloodline oath made, the white tiger general trembles violently, forced to bow his head under the immense pressure. The middle-aged cultivator from the 5-element star on the opposite side fares worse. Though he does not have a bloodline oath, his divine sense body is also consumed by Wang Lin. At this moment, under the pressure, he is overwhelmed by a tidal wave of reverence and awe. Wang Lin pays no attention to the two of them. All his focus is now on the blade in his hand. Slowly, he closes his eyes, no longer looking at the sky, but instead concentrating everything on the blade. The moment his eyes shut, Wang Lin hears no sounds. The only thing he feels is the blade in his hand, which will replace his eyes, and his divine sense. With the accumulation of his cultivation, it forms a blade capable of shaking the heavens. In the vast western starry sea of this realm, a sudden roar echoes, and a massive vortex appears. Before it can fully form, it trembles violently and then collapses with a deafening sound. From a distance, it looks as though someone tore it apart from within. As the reverberation of the collapse spreads, seven-colored light bursts forth. Within that light, the seven-colored Daoist steps forward, taking a huge stride and directly entering the shattered realm. The moment he enters, the seven-colored Daoist immediately senses Wang Lin's aura. A murderous gleam appears in his eyes as he laughs loudly. "Wang Lin, I have found you. This time, I will see how you escape." At this instant, on the third cultivation star of this realm, Wang Lin's eyes suddenly snap open. The blade he holds explodes with a 1,000-foot glow. With a low growl, Wang Lin leaps into the air and swings his blade, unleashing the strongest strike. With the strike, Wang Lin rapidly retreats. In an instant, the blade light flashes, and a massive blade beam appears out of nowhere in the sky. With a deafening roar, it absorbs the storm around Wang Lin, consumes his armor, and devours all the soldier puppets on the chessboard below, smashing through the White Tiger's rules. The White Tiger spits blood and immediately grows weak. The blade beam shoots into the sky and vanishes in an instant, reappearing in the vast starry sea where the seven-colored Daoist is. Everything happens so quickly that the moment the seven-colored Daoist enters this realm, Wang Lin has already swung his blade. The blade beam bursts through the void, expanding in the starry sky. From a distance, it seems nearly 10,000 feet long. It no longer appears illusory but has gained substance, hurtling toward the seven-colored Daoist with a terrifying roar. This blade beam is formed by the rules of this realm, and, after absorbing all of Wang Lin's cultivation, its power has grown. This strike is the fusion of the realm's strength, delivered with the force of the entire realm. The beauty of this strike is indescribable. The blade light shines brilliantly, heading straight for the seven-colored Daoist. The seven-colored Daoist's pupils suddenly shrink. With his cultivation, he actually feels a sense of danger in this moment, a rare occurrence for him, happening only 3 times in his life. Of these 3 times, 2 occurred while chasing Wang Lin, once in the Cloud Sea Rift, and now in this shattered realm. To transform this realm's rules into a blade. Wang Lin's ability to come up with such a method in such a short time shows how extraordinary his intellect is. But the more so, the more he must die. Not a single mercy. The seven-colored Daoist's mind races. With the presence of the war ghost, he doesn't want to suffer injury here. With a flick of his sleeve, 7-colored light condenses in front of him, forming a 7-colored lotus. The lotus, with 7 petals of 7 different colors, blooms in front of him. 7-colored Dao Lotus. Lotus condenses soldier cultivation. As the 7-colored Daoist speaks, he steps into the lotus, sitting cross-legged. The 7 petals immediately close around him, enveloping his entire body. From a distance, this no longer resembles a lotus flower, but rather an unopened bud. The long blade, roaring, falls upon this giant 7-colored lotus bud in an instant. The roaring sound erupted in an instant, shaking the starry sky and causing it to tear apart over a vast area. Amidst the layers of collapse, the blade light violently shattered, turning into countless fragments that swirled into the air. At the same time, the colorful lotus bud trembled once more. 7 colors flashed and intertwined, and 2 petals directly shattered into pieces. However, the explosion of the blade light and the destruction of the 2 petals created a devastating shockwave. Centered on the 7-colored lotus platform, it spread wildly in all directions. A deafening roar swept across the starry sky, and visibly, under the impact, the sky crumpled like a piece of silk being folded, collapsing inch by inch as if being forcibly torn apart. The starry sky trembled and crumbled continuously. Under the sweeping force of the shockwave, everything shattered, even the 9 cultivation stars. In the instant the shock passed, 7 of them exploded, forming massive black vortexes that devoured everything. This world would never exist again. On the 3rd cultivation star, the star roared, and massive ravines appeared on the ground. The dim sky darkened, and with the shaking of the earth, the star began to collapse. The ground rolled, and rocks flew into the air, presenting an apocalyptic scene. Blood trickled from the corner of Wang Lin's mouth, and helplessness appeared in his eyes. The seven-colored Daoist was too strong. Without hesitation, he stepped back, and a vortex appeared out of thin air. In a flash, he stepped into the vortex, ready to leave. Just as he was about to depart, the starry sky rumbled once more, and a low growl echoed in all directions. The lotus bud that had lost 2 petals appeared on the collapsing third cultivation star amidst the permeating seven-colored light. As the petals bloomed, the inner lotus was revealed, sitting cross-legged in a radiant seven-colored glow. Seven-colored Dao Lotus. The lotus opens. The seven-colored Daoist, sitting on the lotus platform, suddenly raised his right hand and pointed at Wang Lin, who was about to leave in the vortex. Though the seven-colored light appeared as usual, the Daoist's heart was filled with a heavy gloom. The strength of Wang Lin's previous strike had far exceeded his expectations. To him, that strike didn't feel like something Wang Lin could unleash, but as if the entire broken realm itself had attacked him. This overwhelming power from the entire realm shook even him, especially when 2 petals of the seven-colored lotus platform shattered under that strike. It caused a sharp pain in the Daoist's heart. Now, as he pointed his finger, killing intent radiated like a storm. As the seven-colored Daoist's finger fell, the remaining 5 petals of the lotus beneath him immediately detached, their 5-colored light rushing towards Wang Lin, aiming to seal him off. The seven-colored Daoist leaped up, following the 5-colored petals, and rushed towards Wang Lin at an incredibly fast speed. At this moment, Wang Lin's body merged with the vortex, and he was about to leave, but the seven-colored Daoist's attack turned into the power of his void cataclysm cultivation. The instant the 5-colored petals neared, a deathly crisis enveloped Wang Lin's mind. But Wang Lin, having dared to stay and unleash such a heaven-shattering strike, had long been prepared. Though impulsive at times, he mostly acted after careful planning. As the 5-colored petals closed in, Wang Lin raised his left hand and grasped the empty air. Immediately, a sea of flames engulfed his body, transforming into a gigantic flaming umbrella in an instant. World Incinerating Fire Umbrella. This umbrella did not cover the sky, but was instead the size of a normal umbrella, held in Wang Lin's hand. The technique of the World Incinerating Umbrella required a transformation with restraints, which took time to prepare, making it unsuitable for use in urgent situations. But Wang Lin had already thought of his escape route when he gathered that previous strike. Secretly, his left hand behind him formed a seal to create the umbrella in advance. Though it consumed more vitality, it was worth it. Now, with the umbrella in his left hand, he raised it, and with a soft whoosh, it opened to shield him. The moment the umbrella opened, flames howled out. As the 5-colored petals approached, they were immediately blocked by the umbrella. The sound of the impact echoed, each petal that hit the umbrella causing Wang Lin's spirit to tremble. However, using that force, he took 3 steps back. With the 3rd step, his body completely merged into the vortex behind him. As the flames covered his vision, Wang Lin's figure disappeared, escaping this world. In the instant he vanished, Wang Lin heard an enraged roar. It was the 7-colored Daoist, who followed the 5-colored petals and rushed into the vortex where Wang Lin had been. His right hand lifted, forming a palm, and under the blinding 7-colored light, it transformed into a 7-colored palm imprint, crashing through the vortex, grabbing towards Wang Lin. But the grasp was empty. Wang Lin had already left. Even if you flee to the ends of the earth, you cannot escape my pursuit. The dark shout echoed. The 7-colored Daoist didn't even look at the white tiger general or the middle-aged cultivator from the 5-element star. His body swayed and plunged into the vortex, chasing after Wang Lin. After Wang Lin and the rainbow Daoist left, the 3rd cultivation star collapsed entirely with a resounding rumble, perishing along with this realm. The white tiger general suddenly looked up, his eyes revealing complexity. His oath had already taken effect, and before leaving, Wang Lin even had time to issue a mental command. At this moment, he could not afford to be disrespectful. Struggling, he rose to his feet and rushed toward the pale-faced 5-element star cultivator. Capture him. I have great use for him. This was the first command Wang Lin had given to the White Tiger General before he left. At that instant, within one of the realms, a star vortex began to form. A long streak of rainbow light shot out before the vortex could fully take shape, breaking through all obstacles. The figure in white, calm and composed, was none other than Wang Lin. The moment Wang Lin stepped out of the vortex, he suddenly turned around. His right hand raised, and the power of Yi Mo's right arm gathered, transforming into the sky-tearing art, which he used to tear the void behind him. A sharp, echoing cracking sound filled the air as the void behind Wang Lin was torn open, creating a massive rift. This rift even split the vortex in half, causing it to collapse. All of this happened in the blink of an eye. Without hesitation, Wang Lin took a step forward and entered the rift formed by his sky-tearing art, disappearing in a flash. As he vanished, a cold grunt echoed through the starry sky. A booming sound followed, and from the collapsing vortex, the rainbow Daoist emerged. His eyes glinted with cold light, his expression extremely grim. Had Wang Lin not reacted so quickly and used the sky-tearing art to destroy the vortex's traces and slightly obstruct the rainbow Daoist's footsteps within it, he would have had no chance to leave calmly. Instead, the moment he appeared, the rainbow Daoist would have caught up with him. The pursuit continued. Wang Lin, using his various divine abilities, traveled through the realms. The rainbow Daoist relentlessly followed, his presence constantly in the background. As soon as Wang Lin hesitated or paused, the rainbow Daoist would close in. During these successive journeys, other people within the 300 broken realms noticed the disturbance. Slowly, their divine senses converged, joining the pursuit behind the rainbow Daoist. I must shake him off soon, or if I continue like this, more people will notice. If War Ghost gets involved, escaping will become even harder. Wang Lin's body flashed, and within the swirling vortex, he appeared in another broken realm. Just as he was about to leave, a sudden change in his expression occurred. This realm was different from ordinary ones. There was a faint but terrifying aura, most likely emanating from a fierce beast. The aura was faint because the beast was likely in a deep sleep. Wang Lin's eyes flickered. A thunderbolt seemed to strike his mind. However, he did not stay in this realm. Instead, he memorized its location and left in a flash. After his departure, the rainbow Daoist appeared, his expression darker than ever. He too sensed the presence of the fierce beast. Even he felt a chill at the aura's presence. Upon realizing this, he had expected Wang Lin to stir the beast, creating chaos to escape. But Wang Lin had done nothing of the sort. For a moment, the rainbow Daoist did not have time to think. He took a step forward, vanishing to continue the chase. Wang Lin moved with incredible speed. Though he had been passing through realms continuously, already having traversed dozens of them, he was always heading in the same direction. This starry sky was like a series of mirrors, and Wang Lin merely passed back and forth through one of them. Every time he crossed, it was a different realm, yet his position remained unchanged. As he kept forcefully passing through, the rainbow Daoist followed closely behind. Even the strongest barriers started to show signs of collapse. Wang Lin knew well about the 300 broken realms. The reason these realms could persist for so long was because of the enormous yellow flower he had once seen. The 300 broken realms absorbed the nutrients from this flower, which gave them the enduring power to survive. That flower was a precious treasure obtained by the Rainbow Immortal Venerable in the Immortal Realm. This treasure had no offensive power, but contained an astonishing vitality. It could heal wounds, making recovery much faster. Had it not been for Lien Daofei's sudden arrival back then, the Rainbow Immortal Venerable would never have been in such a dire state. However, the memoryless Rainbow Daoist was unaware of this. Even the Immortal Consort and the 4 great generals knew little about the matter. They only knew of the 300 broken realms. As Wang Lin continued his journey through the realms, the barriers between them grew increasingly unstable, shaking with a tremendous roar after each pass. This change immediately caught the Rainbow Daoist's attention. His eyes narrowed with cold light, and he sneered. To think he would resort to such petty tricks in front of me. Wang Lin thinks that by causing this collapse between realms, he can stop me from chasing him. He might even try to use the power of the collapse to harm me. A clever plan, but since I see through it, he has no hope of success. The rainbow Daoist's eyes flickered as he continued the pursuit. Raising his right hand, a dazzling rainbow light enveloped him. He began to reinforce the barriers between the realms. With his cultivation, stabilizing before total collapse brought excellent results. Yet Rainbow Daoist's expression remained dark. His consolidation was hidden in the shadows, invisible to others, and that rainbow light had flickered only once before vanishing. This boy is slippery. If he realizes I've uncovered his plan, he'll surely change it and bring needless trouble. Better to play along. When he believes he's succeeded, that will be the perfect moment to seize him. Rainbow Daoist's lips curled into a slow smile as he continued his pursuit, unhurried. All the while, Grand Heavenly Venerable Xian Luo observed in silence. He had considered intervening to help Wang Lin end this, but the thought vanished as quickly as it came. This youth must rely on himself for this tempering. If he can sense my presence, then I will act. That will be his final trial. Wang Lin, do not disappoint me. Xian Luo, lost in thought, still kept his eyes on Wang Lin and Rainbow Daoist, easily discerning the intent in both their hearts. If this barrier collapses, he can indeed escape. But now that his plan has been seen through, let's see how he adapts. Xian Luo walked slowly, trailing behind. Wang Lin slipped through world after world, faintly feeling through each resistance that the barrier connecting them was close to collapse. His eyes gleamed, his face calm. In the instant his figure vanished into a vortex, unseen by anyone, he drew out the ghost face canvas. In a blur, ghostly faces enveloped him. When he emerged again, the phantoms were gone without a trace. All this was done in the blink of an eye, unnoticed by any pursuer. Rainbow Daoist had his full attention on the weakening barrier. He believed he had completely read Wang Lin's intent, certain there was no escape. Locked onto Wang Lin's aura, Rainbow Daoist pursued step for step, his path nearly identical to Wang Lin's. Time slipped away. In the span of a single incense stick, after nearly 100 crossings, Wang Lin finally did something different. Emerging from a starry vortex, he didn't enter another. Instead, he shot forward at full speed. In a flash, he traversed 10,000 miles. Curling his body into a ball, a faint shadowy glow shimmered around him. The starlight warped, and in the next instant, a phantom illusion unfolded. From afar, Wang Lin had disappeared. What remained was a very ordinary cultivation star. Just as he transformed into that star, the fading vortex he had used erupted in rainbow brilliance. Rainbow Daoist stepped out, without pause, and immediately turned back into the vortex to continue pursuit. Grand Heavenly Venerable Xian Luo saw it all. His pupils contracted sharply, and he cast a meaningful glance at the star Wang Lin had become, shock flashing in his eyes. Such cunning. This child is truly a dragon among men. For a long moment, Xian Luo was silent, his gaze filled with admiration he had never before shown. After Rainbow Daoist left, several more pursuers arrived. They too wasted no time, vanishing straight into the vortex. Half an incense stick later, the star Wang Lin had become still showed no change. Not long after, War Ghost appeared at the place where the vortex had faded. His body gave off no trace of life, like a corpse walking, a cold smile tugging at his lips as he stepped forward and vanished into the realm. Only then did the star Wang Lin had transformed into tremble. The illusion dissolved, revealing Wang Lin within. He glanced once in the direction the others had gone, his expression unchanged. With a flicker, a vortex appeared at his side, and he stepped in. His path now was the exact opposite of the others. Careful as ever, no one noticed. After passing through 4 broken realms, he finally halted. This was the place he had discovered earlier, where the aura of a fierce beast lingered. Moving cautiously, Wang Lin descended onto a cultivation star within this realm. The entire star was a vast desert, flat, without mountains or valleys, only endless yellow sands. Cross-legged upon the dunes, Wang Lin let out a deep breath. His eyes shone with killing intent. Now it's time for my first counterattack. Even if it costs me a use of the 3 lives technique here, I'll make these pursuers taste a lesson they'll never forget, life and death etched into their souls. There should still be time before Rainbow Daoist grows suspicious. Enough for me to set my ambush. Wang Lin formed hand seals, then suddenly pressed both palms against the sand. His mind was sharper than most could ever hope to match. From the moment he entered the 300 Broken Realms, he had already prepared escape strategies should he be hunted. And at last, he devised this trap within a trap. The connected barriers between realms, that was his first stratagem. He knew it would not deceive Rainbow Daoist or War Ghost for long. In fact, he had intended for them to see through it. Once they truly realize this plan, they will unknowingly fall into Wang Lin's second strategy. Using the ghost face illusion art, he exploits the moment when they believe they've seen through Wang Lin's scheme and let their guard down. In that instant, while still trapped in the cycle of pursuit, they sink deeper into the illusion. The key here is not the collapse of the barrier, nor the illusion itself, but Wang Lin's repeated actions, nearly 100 times. He weaves in and out of the vortex, which mirrors itself, causing the pursuers to develop unconscious habits and awareness. And these, precisely, are the conditions for entering the illusion.